When someone asks if you're a god, you say yes! Welcome to the Backlot 605 podcast. This is episode number 45. I am one of your hosts. I am Casey Kelderman.
I'm Brian Mensing.
And today we are going to be doing another fun episode for you. We're going to be talking Sylvester Stallone movies.
Why are we talking Sylvester Stallone? Fucking Christ, I can't even start.
Why aren't we talking Sylvester Stallone movies, Brian? That is in honor of the much anticipated, at least on my end, Last Blood.
Yeah, that's on your end.
That is totally on my end, and I'm happy for it. I'm excited for it.
Let's be honest, that is also on my end.
And that voice right there is of Charlie Eccles. We're welcoming Charlie back for the first time since we talked about wrestlers that needed movies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time we talked a lot of wrestling last time.
We did.
So, yeah.
We might throw a little wrestling in here.
I'm sure we will. It seems to get brought up wherever I go these days. So
yeah, so Charlie, if you want to let the people know, what exactly do you do?
I am a professional wrestling commentator kind of throughout the Midwest, especially over the last year. I made my start with Midwest All Pro as their lead commentator, and I've been there, it'll be 3 years this November that I have been there, and then I made some connections through that. I'm now actually the lead commentator for Magnum Pro Wrestling down in Omaha as well. If you haven't checked out Magnum Pro Wrestling and you're a wrestling fan and you're in the Omaha area, it's the best professional wrestling you will possibly see, especially in that area. And I couldn't recommend them more than I already do. I've also been doing some ring announcing now, and I'm currently booked solid in October, which was a nice little change of pace. I'll be doing some ring announcing for a company called Crushed Pro Wrestling in Minneapolis. It's near the Minneapolis area. A guy named Alex Benson runs that promotion up there. He's a great dude. That show that I'm doing is actually going to be it's a charity event with D'Lo Brown, and that's going to be a lot of fun up in the Minneapolis area, and we'll be doing some more shows for Crushed, hopefully, here in the future. Done a little bit of ring announcing for Impact Pro Wrestling in Iowa as well, and more to come. I've recently had a good-sized push from a lot of the people who like my work to get me into MLW, which is a pretty well-renowned national promotion now, and it's been pretty cool to see. I was a little bit shocked to see that I actually have fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't even make that graphic.
No, I didn't. Yeah, that was, I had a few people on Twitter. MLW just posted up, hey, we're running short on commentators. Who do you want to see? And there were a few people that had posted kind of the indie darlings of the commentary world from the Chicagoland area and that kind of thing. I had a couple of guys go on there and just say, hey, you should check out this guy. And I was like, yeah, check out me. And then it kind of blew up from there. It was pretty cool to see. Like I had a lot of my family get on there. I had a lot of the Midwest All Pro and Magnum fans really kind of get behind that idea. And I was really humbled by that whole situation. Because one, I'm still getting used to the fact that I'm a wrestling commentator. I've only been doing it for a couple of years, but now to find out that I have people that are fans of my work is really humbling to know that I'm actually doing my job right. So yeah, no, it's been great. So, and then I've also been doing SuperCon. I've been on the board and the staff for SuperCon here in Sioux Falls for about the last year and a half, and now I'm back on the podcast to talk to you guys because I talked you two schmucks into coming in and doing a table this year with it. So I'm pretty excited to have you guys come and join us. So.
Yeah, let's jump into that a little bit. So we are going to be at SuperCon here September 27th through the 29th at the Sioux Falls Convention Center.
And we're not just going to be walking around aimlessly this time.
No, not this time. We did last time. Yeah. But this time we are actually going to have a booth there. You can come say hi to me and Brian. Come talk to us, talk about what we're doing. We also have a couple of fun events that we're going to be doing there as well. We'll do a full preview next week of what those events actually are, but those include some movie screenings, and maybe we'll be talking in front of some people like we usually do.
I'm excited for you guys. I really am.
We're usually hidden in this little room here,
right?
So it'll be a fun change of pace to be in front of hopefully some people out there listening to us.
Yeah, I'm excited that you guys agreed to join, and I'm excited that you guys are going to get in front of hopefully quite a few more people because we've got Ian White from Game of Thrones is coming. if you like wrestling, Billy Gunn is going to be there. We're going to be doing a wrestling show on Friday, and we've been really, really pushing on that one. So I'm excited to see you guys be a part of the whole.
We're definitely looking forward to it.
Good.
So when you made the reference of the last time Charlie was here,
Yes.
I definitely make a recommendation. He comes on sooner than the next 6 months. I went to go look to find out when that episode aired. It was February 19th.
Because we were talking about fighting with my family. That's what we were
came out
previewing.
into theaters. Yeah, and now it's on DVD and
Yeah.
I've owned that thing for digital for like 3 months now.
I know. We don't have to dwell on The Rock for 9 months. Is what's going on.
No. Yeah. Well, next week we are going to do a full preview of SuperCon. But Charlie, what is one thing you're looking forward to the most?
Oh, for SuperCon?
Yeah.
Gosh, honestly, this has been a year of blood, sweat, and tears. For it, if I'm allowed to do my little push for SuperCon, it's completely nonprofit. Every cent that we make either goes into the next year's convention so that we can throw on a good event for the community, or gets donated to charity. Every person that you see there in either a staff shirt, or if they are on the board, they're all volunteering their time. Not one of us has taken a single cent from this organization, and we do this because we want our community to have that event, but we also want to benefit some of the people in the community. The people that we donate to are the JY6 Foundation, which is a childhood cancer research foundation, and we also donate to the Reach Literacy Foundation. And Reach Literacy is doing some amazing work with adult literacy here in Sioux Falls, and unfortunately they were affected by the tornado that came through this last weekend, and I'm hoping that they can kind of get back on their feet and that this will be a good little push for them. Honestly, this has just been, I've had my finger in a lot of different things, and I'm excited to see it kind of unfold and make, it's kind of a nervous anticipation of like, we've worked so hard. There was a good long stretch where I think, at least I was putting in 3 to 5 hours every night just trying to keep everything organized to make sure everybody was communicated with, and and then try to work out and drink water at the same time. So I'm excited to see the whole thing unfold. Personally, selfishly, I had a big hand in bringing in Billy Gunn for the wrestling side of things.
No reason to be selfish.
Yeah. The one selfish thing that I took was that when we knew that Billy was coming, I went up to Nick, the guy, Nick Dinsmore, who runs the promotion here in Sioux Falls, and I said, my one thing that I want from this whole thing is I want to be the guy to announce him in the ring. So I planned a whole segment, and we announced a match between him and our champion, Rich Maxwell. So I'm excited to see Rich get his comeuppance from Billy Gunn. I'm also very excited to see a young star like Rich Maxwell get an opportunity to get in the ring with a bona fide Hall of Famer. So selfishly, I'm very excited about the wrestling. But then Saturday night, we've got the After Dark stuff. You guys are going to have some stuff going on as well. We've planned out a Lego Walk of Fire that is going to be in the concourse. So we'll be giving away some prizes for that. So if you're man enough to walk on 15 feet of Legos, you'll win a prize. We'll have some trivia going on. Yeah,
it sounds like doable, but not at the exact same time. Like you're just thinking, 15 feet, that's not so bad.
Yeah, until you see 15 feet of Legos.
Oh, Legos.
Yeah, so it's just to see this whole event unfold and how much it's grown since year one. It started in the basement of a very dingy interstate side hotel, and now we're in the convention center, and we're expecting thousands of people, and there's going to be some things that are going to surprise people that are there too, and some things that we've kind of held to ourselves that are going to be going on, and people are going to be. This is not your average convention anymore. We went from your mom's literally a basement to now we're a legitimate con. We've had people reach out who said we've never heard of anything like you guys, and we want to be a part of it. So we're excited for this and to continue seeing it grow. So
sounds like us a little bit.
Yeah,
started in a basement.
You guys did. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You guys. Hits the heartstrings a little bit.
And I would like to point out when you comment about the announcing of Billy Gunn, having seen said video, that was absolutely amazing. Like to even give you that, just your opportunity to even be able to do that. I mean, watching your ability in the ring to go basically face to face with him, to own that, and while debate, keeping all that to yourself to that whole time and whatnot. That that I got an opportunity to watch that video, and more props to you for being able to just do that in its own.
The hardest thing about that was keeping that to myself. There were very few people, even in the locker room, who knew. When people got the run sheet, it literally said Charlie announcement, and they knew it was going to be something for SuperCon, but. There were some rumblings because a few of the guys knew because they had talked to Nick, but then there was a legit surprise. Like, I remember I had somebody come up to me and they're like, "Oh, Charlie, who are you bringing in for SuperCon?" I was like, "Oh, you haven't heard?" And they're like, No. And I was like, "Good." I walked away. And so it was... one, to have a genuine surprise within professional wrestling, because this is such an internet-driven community.
Yeah, it is.
It's, everybody's talking about everything, and everybody needs 5-star matches, and they need, we call it Dave Meltzer's fake news. But, and he, it's, like I said, they want to know every little detail, so to actually be able to pull off a genuine surprise was really, really cool. I mean,
you could definitely hear it in the video.
Yeah, and I've been in the ring when the crowd is excited. That's my job, is to get the crowd excited. But I've never gone from hearing, like, you could literally hear a pin drop to everybody hanging on what I was about to say to just sudden, I'm like, yes, I fucking did it! And just to give you a little background on this, there was a particular gentleman in the ring who knew what and we had planned this out, and if we were gonna bust out a few things, he turned to me and he gave me a little wink, like, "Hey, we did it." And we were pretty excited about it. So yeah, and Nick, when he gave me that little wink, I was like, "Yes, okay, we did it." So yeah, but yeah, excited, and it gives me. I'm nervous to see how everything turns out. I'm excited to see how everything turns out. I'm probably going to sleep for a year after this, but
you say you're going to sleep for a year, and then in like 2 weeks you're going to be like, "Oh shit, now we got to start working on the next one."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a year of planning, and we've got a lot of things in the work, but we'll see what we can bring. We're definitely going to bring it this year. We're very highly motivated. I can't say that enough. We want the community to not look at this as just a nerd convention. We want this to be a community event, and
definitely.
We threw in things like Science Steve from PBS and stuff, and we always make sure 10 and under get in free, which is so unlike any convention. That's I love
or anything that you do.
Right.
You don't get in for free for anything.
You don't get in for free for anything
unless you literally can't conform like full sentences. Like you're like three and down, or 4 and down, 5 and down.
Right.
Yeah.
Kids meals are free somewhere on Sundays.
You're 10, full price.
Yeah. Exactly. We want to keep it that way. We did have to raise ticket prices just a little bit this year to try and get a few things covered, but we went from $10 to $15. To compare that, there are 2 conventions up in Minneapolis that are charging like $75 a ticket. There's another one down in Kansas City, which is about the same distance as Minneapolis, that was charging $95 a day. That's so... I mean, you get your money's worth when you go to these things, but this is for the community. We pour our blood, sweat, and tears into this for the community, not for any of our own selfish nature. So
it's not for profit. We have to remember it's not for profit.
It is, and once a year they make me throw on a suit and donate a check to the JY6 Foundation. But that's the worst of it.
And you feel so bad about it.
Yeah, it feels good to give the money, but God, I hate wearing that suit. So
what? Give me a reason to wear a suit. I'll help.
Yeah, right.
Brian, do you own a suit?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I own a suit. I look good in a suit.
I typically have to wear one when I'm doing wrestling stuff, but now I've cut that down to like, I can probably just pull off a flannel. I got my own look now.
Yeah. I was gonna say you have an aesthetic.
Yep. I can come in looking like a lumberjack.
You don't have to go full Mean Gene every time.
Not every time. I mean, it's tempting, but Mean Gene was one of a kind.
Yeah.
So
no, you're gonna get to a point where you come in with the suit, they'll be like, oh shit, what's going down?
Right. Well, and if I wear a tuxedo to Supermania, everybody knows it's a big event. Yep. So.
All right, we're excited for it.
Yeah,
That's going to be so much fun. There's so much stuff to do. Besides the stuff we're doing, I'm super excited to just go as a fan.
Right.
Like, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll do a full preview next week. The stuff we're excited for, and we'll talk about it. We'll plug it there too, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited, guys.
All right, let's jump into our episode this week. As I said at the top, we're going to be talking Sylvester Stallone movies.
Hell yeah.
All machismo.
Hell yeah.
We're going to be giving our 3 favorite / essential Stallone movies. We could have a wide array of movies, I think, in this.
Probably.
List. Yeah.
I think we could.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll get to that.
I'm pretty sure that anything I pick, as long as I know there's 2 I don't have to pick, he's got them covered.
Which was really fun. Me and a buddy of mine, we pick a movie, or like a movie series, and for a long time we were doing 1 movie a week in that series and going through, and we actually did the entire Rocky series. So when you guys were like, oh, do you want to come on for Stallone Week? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. So.
All right, that'll be later on the show. Let's jump into the box office for this week. It Chapter 2 takes the number 1 spot, $40 million this week, bringing its total domestic gross to $153 million.
Oh, is that all?
That is all. This little R-rated horror movie.
This little indie movie?
This movie it's making money. We all expected that.
That's what the special effects look like?
And that's where the money from the first movie kind of went. Spoilers. So me and Brian, Charlie, have you had a chance to watch this at all?
I did, actually.
Okay.
I went late Sunday night last week after I had a wedding, and then I was like, I gotta get out of the house. We've had too much family time. I gotta go do something. So
gotta go watch a spooky
clown.
Yeah.
So and I wouldn't say I'm a Stephen King fanatic by any means, but I am a fan. So, Chapter 1 was fantastic, so I had to go see this new one because I was pretty involved with this. So
good. I'm glad we all have seen it.
We can actually do that. We can
actually talk about it. For me, for this movie, I enjoyed most of it. I felt, as Brian made a joke when I was doing how much it made. The CGI in this movie is really bad.
You think so?
I think it's really bad.
I legit to the point where I think that Warner Brothers needs to fire whatever companies they've been using lately. And, I don't know, go to ILM, go to James Cameron. I don't care. But
I think James Cameron wants to do It Chapter 2.
As long as it's underwater.
Right, exactly. Or on another planet.
Yeah. So I had the opportunity of watching it. I got to it late as well. And I didn't get to it until Friday night because I was like, this is the only time I really get time to go. I'm going to go. I didn't get to bed until like 10:30, and I had to be up at 2:30 to get ready for work. And I'm like, I'm just going to fucking go. But so since then, I've also watched Alita Battle Angel. I rewatched that.
Okay.
And I'm just like looking and thinking, there's so much bad CGI in It Chapter 2 that I'm just looking at Alita going, even the worst thing in that movie is leaps and bounds better than, some of the, like, when the grandma got all big and gross and, it got so out of, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't watched it, but I think besides the CGI, it's a fairly...
everything else is relatively solid.
Yeah, I think the main problem is there's too much CGI within, like, Pennywise and the different forms he takes, and the kids look really bad when they do the flashbacks.
Finn Wolfhard was a pain to watch.
There's three of the kids you can tell had CGI on them, and you can tell that they had to lower their voice, too, because they've all gone through puberty at this point. But it kind of works because it is a flashback, so it's kind of dreamlike. It doesn't need to be set in the real world, but it kind of takes you out of it when you see it, especially when you see the Ben, the chunky kid.
That was the only one that I saw.
Where they had to actually add fat to his face because he's not as big anymore. He's gone through puberty.
He's gone through puberty. He's lost all that baby weight. Yeah.
So I think besides that, the positives of Bill Hader.
Bill Hader crushed it.
Oh,
It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, Bill Hader, when they announced that Bill Hader was playing Trash Mouth, having read the book, I was like, that's like near perfect casting.
That's beautiful.
That is near perfect casting right there. So
my only issue out of like the adult cast was trying to get around James McAvoy's main accent. I actually just earlier rewatched Wanted, and I'm like, there is the American accent he should have been using the whole time. Like, I don't know, there was just something he was just trying. I don't know, there was just that draw. I don't know what it was, but it's like he was trying to talk over his chin.
Right. Well,
And that could be the character too. He's trying to fight the stutter throughout the entire movie too. So it could be a character thing. I don't
know. I mean, he got the stutter down beautiful.
Yeah.
But when he wasn't stuttering, I was like, oh, stop talking.
I'd recommend.
I would recommend it. Yes.
Yeah. It'll be a movie I would rewatch again. I'm excited to see where this like supercut is supposed to be at. That Andy Muschietti is teasing.
okay.
So
I didn't know that they were talking about
yeah.
that.
So yes, the director is talking about putting together a supercut, which would put them together. But on top of the supercut, he's also made reference to the fact that he has scenes that he wants to put in the supercut that he hasn't even filmed yet.
Really? Well, that would make me interested. My only, me being a Stephen King fan, like, it is a step away from the book. The last two are, anyway. There's a lot of really good things that they kept on there, and there's a lot of things in the book that you can't do.
Including something in the cave at the end when they're kids. Yeah.
The first time I read it, when that was going on, I was like, oh, I just got to get out of this. And I was also like, I had this habit of reading a book and going back and forth with it through an audiobook as well. Mm-hmm. So like if I'm driving, I'll be doing the same book that I'll still lay down and read. So I had to listen to that whole scene, and I was just cringing. And I had stopped on my way. I was actually on my way to a wrestling show. I stopped at the gas station and just stared at the dashboard. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I could see Charlie in the bathroom like an Ace Ventura.
Yeah, it was
the plunger in his mouth and taking a shower. Just to wash it all off.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And I felt like I couldn't run away from it. And that it was just... And anybody who's read the book knows how cringeworthy that is. And you wonder, because Stephen King, for all intents and purposes, is a very, very genius writer for some of the things that he's come up with. But did we need that? Is kind of where I always land.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole, with being that you're listening to the audiobook in your car. I'm sitting there going... You're like, I need to turn this shit down.
Oh, yeah. No,
it
was down.
Somebody's going to drive up next to me and be like, what fucking porn are you?
Yeah. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. And I had to go ring announce right after that for a bunch of guys that I had always looked up to in the Minnesota scene. So it was the first time I'd shared a locker room with them. So I'm uncomfortable when I get out of my car. And then I get in there and I'm like, oh shit, Eric Hannon is just giving me his waiting time and trying to calm me down. This is a weird day, guys. This is a weird day. We're gonna chalk it up to a weird day. So,
all right, It Chapter 2. Go check it out. Obviously, a lot of people have $40 million this weekend. Number 2 this week, Hustlers, $33 million. The Jennifer Lopez-led stripper movie.
Oh, you mean the one that literally I saw earlier today where they're talking about Jennifer Lopez and Oscar in the word with the movie Hustlers?
Yeah, I've heard that. She should have got it for Selena, but...
You're not wrong. But
I have no... I don't know.
I mean, Jennifer Lopez with this movie.
What's that?
There's really Oscar talk?
Yes.
You're kidding me.
I could see a Golden Globe nom, not an Oscar nom for it. It's been getting really good reviews, surprisingly. Yeah.
But see, and that's just it, though. I mean, maybe we're not getting past the trailer, and maybe there is more to this movie that we are not seeing yet. And maybe those who have actually seen the movie, maybe there is I mean, it's a dramedy, so I mean, there is a potential path there that maybe we're just not seeing because all we've seen is just the one trailer.
I could see this ending up being like how we view Magic Mike now, a little bit, in a better light.
Okay. That
people actually enjoy the at least the 2 Magic Mike movies that we got. So I could see this movie ending up being like that, but I don't see any Oscar noms or Oscar anything for this movie. Having not seen it, but
does this mean the top 2 movies this week are rated R?
Yes.
Yes.
That's okay.
And then
Don't
I believe
see that very often.
I think the top 4 movies are rated.
Well, Good Boys definitely is.
Is Angel Has Fallen?
That's what I'm looking.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so number 3 is Angel Has Fallen, $4.4 million. I don't know how this is still making money.
How did it not drop off?
Yeah. Number 4, Good Boys, 4.2, and then number 5, The Lion King, $3.5 million. Number 2 highest grossing movie of the year worldwide, The Lion King. Disney just owning the box office this year, of course. So
yes, it is rated R, by the way.
okay. And then one more movie I do want to bring up at the number 8 spot, The Goldfinch, $2.6 million against a $45 million budget.
Yeah, that's not... And it looks really good. That's the part that sucks about that. And I don't know if it's just because of that it came out around between Hustlers and Chapter 2, that it's just like, is it just... I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad time of the year for it to come out. But
It's also not getting very good reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
The couple trailers I've seen, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Ansel Elgort.
Yeah, it's sitting at 25% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Ouch.
Yeah.
All right. But 74% of the audience liked it.
Yeah.
I'm an audience member, damn it. I don't qualify as a tometer person.
Brian, you're a critic. Wait till we get on Rotten Tomatoes.
I looked at the credentials. We haven't been around for 2 years yet.
Okay.
We're close. One more year and we'll be on Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go.
Yeah, so that movie is it's a bomb, but I haven't watched it. I haven't really heard anyone giving any positive buzz for it, so we'll see what it ends up doing here. Maybe it'll pick up steam in the next couple weeks. Who knows? Maybe Stallone will take it down. Obviously,
I sure hope so. Yeah. I think that's just Stallone's goal in life, is to take down any
other movie. Yeah. All right, let's jump to the news for the week. We got a couple new trailers. The first one, Countdown, is the trailer that we're going to be talking about. It is we were talking about apps turned into movies. Last week we talked about the comedy version of Her.
Oh yeah,
with
the Jexy.
Yeah, Jexy with Adam Devine. This is basically a horror version of that. This is about a app that has a countdown to the day you die.
Oh.
Yeah. So it'll let you know to the exact second in which you'll die.
We're getting.
But you have to. It's kind of
start getting some weird stuff here.
Yeah, it reminds me kind of like The Ring.
Okay.
Like this is what The Ring could be now because no one has VHS tapes anymore. So this
try
is about
try to rewind that goddamn DVD. Don't work.
So yeah, I had a chance to watch this trailer. It looks generic. It looks whatever.
Okay, so being that we were just talking about Black Christmas, better or worse?
About the same, honestly. Yeah, it's nothing really hooked me besides the fact of the premise. But I don't think it's going to be anything more than a cool premise.
Some guy in Hollywood's got some timer on his phone or whatever when he's going to take his next vacation. He's like, that would be a genius for a movie.
What if it counted down to the day you died? Go picture.
Charlie's over here. The voice of wrestling is speechless.
Are you a horror movie guy at all?
Vaguely,
Okay.
yeah. I am. I will say, okay, since we've talked about this, that we're going to talk about wrestling, I am very excited for CM Punk's movie to come out here toward the end of October. That looks very, very fun as far as a horror movie is concerned. The House?
The Girl on the Third Floor.
The Girl on the Third Floor. That's what it is. Yes. I got to go to StarCast here 2 weeks ago, and I got to hear him actually talk about it. So that was really cool. I know that not a lot of people are probably aware of this movie.
It's getting a lot of buzz.
It is, yeah. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 film festivals have picked it up, and it's gotten very good, positive reviews. But no, around this time, I usually kind of spin through the classics with horror. Like I had to be 100% that guy on Friday and watched Friday the 13th, the original. So I'm a big fan of the Halloween series. So you get your rare, good, really, really awesome horror flick, and then the rest of them are kind of it's.
If there
tried.
If there isn't one genre specifically that owns campy,
oh, exactly,
it's the horror genre.
Exactly. I've heard nothing but good things about Happy Death Day as far as the first one, but I've never watched it. And
it's really good.
I heard it was like, it's just campy goodness throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things that people talked about was that PG-13.
right.
And after having seen it, I understand why that it wasn't necessary.
Okay.
The R wasn't necessary because of the Groundhog Day effect of the movie.
Okay.
So every time something would happen, it just reset. So you never
hilarious.
actually saw.
That's hilarious. Yes.
So
I think I need to see this movie.
yes,
It's a fun watch.
it is a very fun watch, and Jessica Roth is amazing.
Okay.
Speaking of a movie that is not a fun watch from the same studio, this is The Gallows Act 2. Have you guys ever seen The Gallows or even heard of it?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Yeah, this movie, the first one I believe came out 2014, I think. Found footage movie, takes place, it's about this urban legend within this high school. 2015?
Yep, sorry.
Took place in this high school about this urban legend about Charlie who has a noose, and if you perform this play, you're going to end up getting killed by Charlie.
Oh, that's great.
Not this Charlie. The first film is god awful. It's horrendous. I saw it in the theater. It's really bad. And now seeing this trailer, I'm not gonna watch it. I don't think. No.
What, you're not going to watch a horror movie?
I might hate watch it.
Yeah.
It might just have to be one of those things. Because the first one I kind of hyped myself up for because there was two great trailers I remember for the first film. The first trailer is the shot of this girl sitting against a wall, and there's a red background, and there's a hallway right next to her that she can't see down, but slowly you see the guy with the noose walking up with it. It's a great trailer. And then the second trailer that they released was Freddy has his glove, Jason has his machete, Charlie has his noose.
Okay.
I'm like, fuck yeah, we're getting a new awesome horror icon, and he's just a ghost.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I was sick of ghosts then. I'm sick of ghosts now, and yeah. And right there, you had that picture pulled up. That's the first trailer. Is that scene?
And that is Kathy Lee Gifford's daughter.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, the picture looks horrifying.
Yeah, that is the best scene in the movie. It's a great, well-paced scene in the movie. The rest of the film pales in comparison to it.
Oh, that sucks.
So it had a bright moment in it, and then it was garbage.
And then the rest of it's like, nope, sorry.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm not excited for it. A movie I am excited for is Paul Feig is set to direct Dark Army for Universal. So now this is going to be an original idea from Paul Feig, who you might know from The Heat, Spy, most of those comedies, the Ghostbusters remake. He will be doing a take on the Universal monsters, which will include like classics like Dracula and Frankenstein and Wolfman, as well as his own creations.
And I love the fact that he is getting outside of the box, and just because he can and does do comedy doesn't necessarily mean he has to. I mean, because he's also the one who did A Simple Favor. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's actually getting out there and to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try something that is not what people expect of me.
I still need to see that because I've heard really good things about A Simple Favor.
Yeah. And funny enough, same with me.
Out of his movies, though, I think Spy is hilarious. It's one of the best comedies to come out in recent memory. I don't like Melissa McCarthy very much, but I actually thought it was a really funny movie. Jason Statham crushes.
That's awesome.
Heat is pretty good with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, and Ghostbusters was terrible, but we don't need to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. It'll be a fun take. I like that Universal is kind of taking their horror properties, but not force-feeding them into a universe like they tried with the Dark Universe and The Mummy.
That's not even the first time.
No, they've tried it.
Because Dracula Untold was supposed to be the universe to start, too.
So was Van Helsing.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Woof.
Universal just needs to understand that they only have one universe, and it has cars in it.
Crossover Fast and the Furious with the monsters.
You're going to bring it up on every episode that you possibly can.
Well, when they go to space, they meet Dracula.
Oh, shit. That'd be great. Vin Diesel versus Dracula. That would be pretty cool.
There you go.
Well, we don't have The Rock anymore, so we'll have, John Cena go against Frankenstein or something?
Maybe John Cena's playing Frankenstein's
Yeah,
monster. Yeah, perfect casting.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that'll be pretty fun. No set release date yet on that. Kind couple other pieces of news we got here. Warner Brothers and J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot company close a mega deal. So J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot will be bringing their productions to WB.
I see this as Warner Brothers' attempt to try to kind of counter-program the whole idea of like when Apple picked up A24 for Apple TV Plus. Is because, Warner Brothers is going to start pushing further HBO Max and the original content there, that, they need to do something to the same effect, because you've got Warner Brothers is right now in that position where it's like, I have to compete right now with what Apple's bringing to the table, what we know is already in the pipeline for Disney, between them owning everything that is Hulu and Disney Plus and everything like that, that Warner Brothers is like, we need to find somebody with a good name, with a good solid, track record, and bring them on board as quickly as we can.
I think that's a smart move.
Oh, especially JJ. Yeah.
I mean, Bad Robot has a name to it. So
yes, it does.
Yeah, I think that's a very smart move on their part to try and compete with everything that Disney, is doing and will continue to do from what it looks like. So.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be to help create some counter programming for Disney Plus, maybe a Warner Brothers complete network or something like that.
That's what the HBO Max is.
Is that what that's supposed to be?
Yeah, because that's where Friends and The Office are going when they get pulled from Netflix.
Ah,
that's where NBC Universal is throwing their shit.
Except all the stuff except DC Universe.
Well.
Which is the strangest thing to not include anything else with that. But
yeah,
that's a different topic.
But yeah, I was going to say, who's to say they don't throw that into a package deal, but that already is a package deal on its own with the comics and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, so this is going to include different media outlets, including television, online, as well as theatrical release movies. So they haven't exactly said what movies they'll be doing or how much JJ will be involved with said movies, so more on that to be determined, I guess.
Completely a side note here, just because I happened to come across it here earlier this last day or so. Did you have any idea that JJ is the one that wrote Joyride?
No.
I did not know that.
That's cool.
And he did the screenplay for Armageddon.
I knew about that.
Okay. But no, yeah. I was screwing around because the Joyride was on sale for like $5 digitally, and I'm just clicking through. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It always surprises me that JJ did Felicity.
Alias.
Yep. Well, Alias was...
But yeah, Felicity, yeah. 84 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Considering... And then after he did Alias, he jumped into Lost and all of that.
Of course, blew up
but by then, he'd already done Mission Impossible 3.
Did he?
Yes.
He did Mission Impossible 3 before Lost?
2006, and he's got Lost listed in 2008.
Oh, okay. I thought Lost had... I feel like Lost started... earlier than that.
Well, let me see. That's under writing.
Yeah.
But that's under writing, I should say.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you're talking producer-wise...
Yeah.
I have to go a little further back.
Yeah, because I feel like JJ had started like from the ground up with
Alias.
David Lindelof and what's his...
Cloverfield.
Yep.
Star Trek. What the fuck? He's my... 2004.
Okay.
Stupid IMDb doesn't give you the start date. It shows when it ends.
Oh, God.
Pain in the ass.
Well,
TV shows, yep.
Fucking dick.
Yeah.
All right, so last piece of news here. We have to give our memoriam for MoviePass.
It's finally dead.
It's finally dead.
As of this recording, it will be dead for about 4 days.
Yep.
It sunsetted on the 14th of September. And the part that was amusing is the other day I was just dinking around on my phone. I opened up one of the folders on my iPhone and I was just scrolling through. I'm like, oh shit, that's still installed. I haven't used MoviePass since, I don't know. I used it heavily when Chapter 1 first came out, and that was 2017. Yep. So I haven't used it in over a year. So I was like, I really need to clean out my phone, it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is the end of MoviePass. It is officially no more. It was on the fast decline here for the last, 6 months to a year.
You know, when they say that you're bleeding money or you're hemorrhaging money, that shit was just like a gush of, yeah.
Yeah.
And I took
too good to be true.
For the small period of time I took advantage of it, it was amazing. I luckily stopped using it before they really started like going, well, we're gonna change our tune, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I was like, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah.
I never actually used it. I had friends that used it and swore by it when it was actually, live and working well.
I could tell you I used it on It Chapter 1, Murder on the Orient Express, and Thor Ragnarok.
So you got your money's worth while you used it, yeah.
Yep.
It's unfortunate that we have obviously in Sioux Falls we have the Cinemark theaters and we have the Cinemark app, which works fine. But obviously something like Movie Pass was never meant to last.
It would have if they wouldn't have made it so cheap.
Yeah.
Because when the movie first came out, it was $50, and if you were going daily, even $50 is actually a really good deal. It's when they attempt to be like, we are going to sell the data and give it for $10. That's what killed them.
Yeah. So that is the end of Movie Pass. It is no more.
R.I.P.
I think they got a little too aggressive. I think they got a little too ambitious.
Yeah. Should we all take a moment of silence for Movie Pass?
Everybody take a knee for Movie Pass.
All right, so we're going to bring it back up, though, with something that is alive and well. That is Sylvester Stallone.
I know.
That is awesome. I can't wait to talk about this. Let's just start off.
How old is this man?
73, I want to say.
Born in 46, so, yep.
Jesus.
Right?
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Look at you go.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I think I feel like I looked that up when I saw that Last Blood was coming out. I was like, dude.
How old is this guy?
How old are you? So.
Let's start off with this. What was your guys' first introduction to Sylvester Stallone? Do you guys remember at all?
Ooh. I would tell you it's not the famous franchises.
What was it?
Oh, I'd have to. Let me hold on.
I remember mine distinctly.
Probably.
I'm also a little younger, but
Mine was Rocky 4. Not when it first came out, because I'm 31 now, so it was a little bit older.
Right.
But it was on HBO, and I remember watching Rocky 4, and I was like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life." And it's a workout movie, but that's it. But that was my introduction.
I was familiar with the Rocky movies, but I don't think as a kid I ever watched any of the Rocky movies.
really.
Maybe bits and pieces of maybe like the first Rocky. It would have been the kind of stuff that is like what was on TV at the time or what was on HBO. Because before the invent of VHSs and all that fun stuff, everything went to HBO, and everybody had to have HBO.
I want to say it was HBO was like looping Rocky 4, so I got overexposed to it. So.
I found it though.
What's that?
Over the Top.
Over the Top.
Yes.
Winner take all, loser take the fall.
Because looking at this, I don't even think to this day I've even seen Cobra.
There are quite a few Stallone movies I haven't seen, but I'm a big fan of the man. So.
Right. Yeah. There's his catalog is so vast and different in different pieces that you can still be a fan of Stallone and not have the same movies as what makes you a fan of Stallone.
Right. I want to say 95 to 2010 was not my Stallone period in life. So.
Yeah.
I don't think that was many people's Stallone.
I don't think that was even Stallone's own period.
What do you? There's some good movies in here I might bring up.
You might. My first introduction was the Rocky series. We had those all on VHS. My dad sat and we just watched them all. I think it was right around when Balboa was coming out.
Okay.
So I would have been like 10, 12 years old. And yeah, we were.
Man, you did just make me feel real fucking old right there. Because I went to that in the theater with my buddies, and we got drunk beforehand.
Yeah, we were watching those, and I still have it right now. I still had the soundtrack from that on CD.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, it was that was my hype for a very long time, and that was my introductions to Stallone. My dad showing me the Rocky movies. Growing up, I think Rocky 3 was probably my favorite because I was also watching wrestling at the time.
Yep.
And it has of course, Thunder Lips played by Hulk Hogan in it, and it's a great scene. The banter between Stallone and Mr. T feels like wrestling banter.
It does. You're not wrong. Well, and that would have been around the time that WrestleMania 1 was coming into its inception and everything like that, too. So there was a lot of wrestling.
There was a lot of cross-promotion without giving you cross-promotion.
Exactly. Well, and WrestleMania 1 had Mr. T in the main event, so it was that all...
was
kind of came into play around that time. So
we're gonna give you product placement and not tell you.
Exactly. That was a lot. And then you saw Hogan and Mr. T doing the Rocky stuff to promote WrestleMania 1, like running with kids like down the beach, like, but not saying it was for Rocky 3.
What year was WrestleMania 1?
WrestleMania 1 had to have been 84?
Okay.
Wow.
This was
if I mentally got that right, that's amazing.
88 was Rocky 3.
No.
Yeah.
No. Wait.
I'll let Brian look it up.
Yeah, no, WrestleMania 1 I want to say was 84.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Founded in 85.
Okay.
But let's see here. And then you said what for Rocky 3?
88. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would
Rocky
have been
3 was 88?
Yeah.
Was it really?
Rocky 2 was 79.
No. My bad. No,
I was like Rocky 3 is 82.
82.
Yeah, I was going to say, because 77 is
my
Rocky
bad.
1.
I was reading Rambo 3 was 88.
Okay.
My
That
bad.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, so I'm bringing this up, and I was like, you cannot tell me there was 10 years.
My bad.
Yeah.
He wasn't on any other train at the moment. That's the one he needed.
Right.
All right, so we're going to kick it off. We each have 3 of our favorite / essential Stallone movies. So, Charlie, what's the first one you want to bring
up? The first one was Over the Top for me. I mean, come on. That is such a great movie. Arm wrestling.
Right?
Serious right now? Of course.
Like, when you think of the idea of somebody is like, we're going to put a movie together. We're going to get Rocky. And we are going to make a movie about an arm wrestler. Like, how does that get greenlit?
Right.
Because Stallone is in it.
Oh, and by the way, he's going to be a divorcee dad, truck driver, who's trying to fight to get his kid back from his now, what is it? It's because his wife's passed away or something like that. So it's the grandfather.
Yeah, the grandpa. Yeah, Stallone's father-in-law is trying to enlist Stallone's son into like a military school.
Yes,
and Stallone wants him on the road with him.
Yeah, great dad. Right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
I love Over the Top. It's so great.
I still to this day, like if I need to sit down and talk to somebody, I'll just like pretend to turn my hat backwards. So.
Okay, I'm not the only person who does that. I feel better.
Well, and Scott Norton, who's a professional wrestler, is in it, so I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say, like, Scott Norton is in this movie, who you need to go find out more about his career, but yeah, Over the Top was, it's remarkably amazing in the worst way.
Yeah, we talked about it in our best worst movies. Yeah. And it is definitely a good bad movie.
It really is, and it's still fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing, so.
There's no other person that could have made the movie the way it is now besides Stallone.
No, nobody.
It is literally Rocky with arm wrestling. Like, how is that a thing?
And over-the-road trucking.
Yes.
So.
I think, considering the decade, considering the time when that came out, the only person who I think could have even potentially come close would have been his Hollywood rival of Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah. But Schwarzenegger didn't have the actual acting chops that
at the time, correct.
Yeah, that he has. So, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the two, but Stallone can actually act. Yeah. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Stallone can do the melodrama that is present in Over the Top. And his name alone is fantastic in the movie, Lincoln Hawk. Stallone has great movie names. That is one of the best things about him.
He really does.
During this time, though, Stallone, it was literally like anything that could be Rocky except something else. Yeah, because the movie I want to bring up is Cliffhanger.
Oh my God, yes.
And I would just like to point out, you were talking about his name in Over the Top. Well, of course he's going to give himself a name like that. He wrote it.
Did he write Over the Top?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I immediately, I'm looking at this going...
I'm going to go home and watch this now. I'm getting all jacked up to watch Over the Top.
And I think that's one thing I think is absolutely fascinating about Stallone is the fact that, everybody is so used to him being the 80s, 90s, and even now in his 70s as this action star. 95% of the shit he's been in, he wrote.
Right.
And if he didn't...
He's a really good writer.
He is.
Yeah, because I was like, because it was like Over the Top, and you brought up just Cliffhanger here. He wrote Cliffhanger. He did the screenplay for Cliffhanger. He did, the Rocky movies. He fucking did Creed,
Yeah.
Like I said, Cliffhanger it's very much similar to Over the Top because it is now he is a rock climber and it is an action movie. It has no reason to be, and I just watched this the other night. in preparation for this episode, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid because I remember vividly watching it with my dad because I remember the opening.
That opening scene.
The opening is fantastic, and yeah, I hadn't watched it since I was a kid, and the movie holds up remarkably well.
Does it really?
Yes, it is very well shot. All the action takes place within the camera, which I love. Like, action movies tend to not do that, especially in today's age, and it's directed by Rennie Harlan. And he's fantastic. He does a great job in this. And one thing I didn't remember is that Michael Rooker is in the movie.
No way.
Yeah,
I don't remember that either.
He plays the other climber that is on the rescue team.
You're right.
Well, I pulled it up. He's like, Michael Rooker. I'm like, really? And right between him and Stallone is John Lithgow.
And John Lithgow crushes as the villain. Oh, he is so good. He's so diabolical.
Well, he has to be the villain. He literally has one name on IMDb.
He does.
He has to be the villain then.
Yeah.
Everybody's got like one name except for Stallone and Rooker.
And John Lithgow, like in pretty much anything, you feel he's pretty lovable. Mm-hmm. He's a lovable character actor, and this he's just diabolical. He's relishing in the fact that he gets to play a villain against Stallone.
That's amazing.
Well, it's not the first time I've seen Lithgow as a villain, and if there's one thing
Footloose.
He does. No, I'm not even talking fucking Footloose. I'm talking a legit villain. Fuck.
He is a great villain in Footloose. You don't diss his reverend character in Footloose.
Sidebar: my buddy and I are at a war right now to find the best Kevin Bacon gifs. I definitely would recommend that game for everyone. By the way,
shouldn't every game include Kevin Bacon? There's
should.
the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
There are some really awesome Kevin Bacon gifs. I wasn't expecting it, and I looked them up on my GIF keyboard, and I was like, oh, okay, these are gold. These are all gold. So, anyway, end sidebar there.
Yeah, I would highly recommend if you haven't watched Cliffhanger since the 90s or whatever. It's fantastic.
At this point. Yeah.
There you go. This is the one I was thinking of.
What's that?
John Lithgow and Denzel Washington in Ricochet, 1991. That was the first thing that I got introduced with Lithgow, and I was like, when the ending turned out to be funny, I was like, how is the serious guy funny? I didn't know him the other way. So there's my sidebar. Sorry.
I think Cliffhanger holds up remarkably well.
Good.
Yeah, it's worth
I need to go back and I need to go back and rewatch that one.
I think it is on both Vudu and Tubi for free with ads right now. So
really,
highly recommend a rewatch of Cliffhanger.
Okay, I think I might end up doing that because how many sequels did Cliffhanger have?
None.
It didn't. I swore it had 2 sequels.
It should have at least 2 sequels.
I thought that it did. Yeah, I could have swore that it had 2 sequels.
If Stallone is done in the Rocky franchise, which I tend to believe he is, I want a Cliffhanger sequel, damn it. Yeah. Bring back Michael Rooker. Do it.
John Lithgow's still alive. Bring him back to life.
Yeah. All right, Brian, what's your first essential Sylvester Stallone movie?
Well, so we can kind of try to keep this maybe a little bit still old school and whatnot, I'm going to go with Tango and Cash.
I have not seen Tango and Cash, so I'm not going to be great at.
Well, as much as Stallone fans we are, it sounds like I have not seen Tango and Cash.
You have not seen that either?
I haven't.
So
him and
I've
Kurt
seen
Russell.
Some of the shitty between 95 and 2010 ones, and they're forgettable, but I don't remember Tango and Cash at all.
So Tango and Cash, they are hotshot detective cops or whatever in their town and whatnot, but it's the kind of thing where there always seems to be kind of like a competition between these two. Who's going to be the better cop in the town?
Okay.
And they end up finding out that they're both investigating or whatever, trying to get the same, bad guy and whatnot. And they get framed for murder. And they end up basically having, team up and to escape. They escape prison. Like, you literally watch both these guys take their belts and zip line down the electrical wire to escape from the prison in the rain. Like, I mean, it's typical, 1980s macho.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's one of those ones where, when Sylvester Stallone started doing the Expendables, I was like, I need Kurt Russell in these movies. Specifically because Tango and Cash is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't believe I've never watched this, though.
Yeah, I mean, look at, especially at the time, I mean, Kurt Russell was relatively known for some of the action stuff he was doing.
Escape from New York.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, how would you have never have seen this?
I know, and I love both.
I will borrow this to you.
Actually, this is probably the one I haven't seen, like especially in both of their filmographies for what they're most known for. I have not seen Tango and Cash.
Okay.
Oh my.
Yeah. So bring it next time we record, Brian. Bring Tango and Cash.
That might be a good one to watch that I've never watched too.
Yeah.
So.
I would highly recommend it. It is great.
All right, Charlie, you got another one?
You know what? Cliffhanger was going to be on my list. I'm trying to thumb through.
He's like, son of a bitch.
But,
I think we'll have some overlap on some of them.
I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Creed, the original 2 Creed movies so far, because I know that they're not Stallone centric, yet they are. But that's a fantastic spin-off series from the Rocky movies. I think, especially the second one. It felt so epic, and it's an actual. The stories are actually heart-wrenching as you're getting through those, and I think a lot of people thought, it's just a Rocky spin-off. No, these are really good.
Takes it back to the roots of what Rocky is about. It's not about him fighting Ivan Drago,
right,
and ending the Cold War himself. No, it's about family and heartbreak and living up to your expectations. And Creed 2 is fantastic. It makes Rocky 4 better.
Oh, it did. Which
is nuts.
100% agree with that. Yeah.
And I love Rocky 4 for what it is.
Exactly. For the 20-minute montage that it has in there. But
which one?
Rocky 4.
No, which montage?
Oh, exactly.
Rocky 4 is literally the most streamlined movie you could ever watch. It's literally 4 montages and 2 fights. It's the best. But Creed 2, it makes Ivan Drago an actual character.
It does. Well, and oh god, now I'm blanking on his name. The guy who plays Drago. I can't.
The kid or the adult?
Dolph Lundgren.
The Dolph. I mean, he showed some legitimate acting chops in Creed 2. I think. Yeah, now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm I think Creed 2 may have been better than Creed 1, but you still have to see the original Creed for it to make sense. But
I figured in order to watch Creed, I should probably watch all the Rocky movies.
Oh, you really should. I mean, and I would recommend watching them from beginning to end, because you really do.
There is such a cool character arc to follow, because
really
this can kind of jump into my next one, which would be Rocky. It's one of my favorite movies ever, and the character arc of Rocky Balboa is just fantastic to watch, because he literally starts from nothing, and then you get to 3 and 4, and he's on top of the world. He's literally ending the Cold War himself. Yeah. He has a fucking robot in Part 4.
Okay, I've seen parts of Part 4 then. I remember the robot.
Happy birthday, Polly.
Yeah, nobody knows what Polly was doing with that robot.
No, you don't want to know.
Nobody wants to know.
And then 5, he loses it all, and he's kind of stuck there, and then until Michael B. Jordan's Adonis Creed shows back up and kind of brings him back up, and it's a fantastic series to watch.
Yeah, Rocky 5 had. So we
even Rocky 5 has fun parts.
Yeah, and that was it. We watched. My buddy had he's like, I'm not gonna watch Rocky 5. It doesn't exist in my eyes. I think we need to see it, and Rocky 5, from beginning until the last 5 minutes, is a very well thought out movie. The last 5 minutes shit on the previous 90. And
ouch.
That's what sucks.
My ring's in the streets.
Yeah. Oh. When he said that, I'm like,
it literally turns into a Stallone action movie.
Does.
Where like you said, the first 90 minutes is like an actual Rocky movie. It's a drama about him and his son, and then all of a sudden, street fight at the end, and it negates all of that. And
and that's
it has a good ending though. I like the actual straight up ending with him and his son. It has as a fun story, but Rocky 5. It's written by Stallone, which all the Rockies were, but it brings back John G. Avildsen, who directed the first film, which was a nice change because Stallone directed 2 through 4.
Yeah,
and it has very similar tone to that first Rocky movie, and I still think the first Rocky movie is one of the greatest movies ever made.
I would agree with you on that one.
It also has, in my opinion, one of the greatest love stories in movies.
Adrian.
Yeah. And on a slightly personal note, me and my brother binged watched all these movies together, kind of like how my dad showed me them. I wanted to show my brother all of them, so we sat and watched them all, and we were in a rough time, but somehow Rocky kind of helped us through it, and it was crazy because by the end when he's fighting Apollo, you're like, come on, Rock, like just get through the fight. You're literally cheering him on yet, and obviously you know the outcome, but still it's such a fun ride.
Yeah, and if you don't know the outcome of the first one, I mean, I would recommend. I would really recommend watching the first one because that is such a good ending to that movie.
Oh, it's a perfect ending.
Yeah, perfect ending, and it was But anyway, I mean, backtracking to the Creed 2, I think with the involvement of Dolph Lundgren and I called him Rocky with Stallone and Michael B. Jordan, who is obviously just fantastic in everything he does. But it's that movie was so good, and you're right. It's not just a boxing movie. Like that's the coolest part about that whole franchise. So. Yeah,
it might be one of my top 3 favorite franchises of all time, and it's probably my favorite film character ever, Rocky Balboa.
Oh, I would. Yeah, he's one of my favorite.
Yeah, he literally has the coolest arc, I think, in out of any series because it's so up and down, like Stallone's life and career. And I think this is the one that most mimics who Stallone actually is now, and what he's going through at the time. It all kind of mirrors that, and. Yeah, it's just a fantastic series.
Yeah, and if they did put an end to the Rocky story arc with Creed 2, which I'm in agreement with you, I think they ended it about as perfect as you possibly could.
That ending is it's great.
Yeah, I agree. When he walks in, I'm like, oh my god, like this is real tough for me. Like, but yeah, that is an amazing arc from young man to old man, and you don't get that often either. So, yeah.
Brian, how many Rocky movies have you seen that you remember
completely?
Yeah,
none. From beginning to end.
Stop your James Bond watch and binge all the Rocky movies.
I will
lend you any of them that you want because I own them all.
I'm literally needing to start Goldfinger, and Goldfinger's the 3rd one out of 24.
Okay, you need to watch Goldfinger too.
Well, when you're done, you got Rocky to watch. So.
There's your next series, Brian. Rocky.
Yep. And watch it from Rocky 1 to Creed 2.
Well, I know. I was like, I got at least. I know where I can at least get the Rocky movies. I can get them from you. Do you have both the Creed movies?
I have both the Creed movies too.
Okay, we're okay.
I'm set. I love that franchise beginning to end.
Yep. I would 100% agree. Even Rocky Balboa, but.
I grew up on that one too, and I think it's It's a little unbelievable that a 60-something-year-old man is in the boxing ring, but it works for the time. It's Rocky.
It's Rocky. I can suspend my disbelief.
He had he had a robot.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a robot, you have to just suspend disbelief just a little bit.
Well,
that's the only diss I can give to the Creed movies is that they never mention that Paulie owned a robot.
They've never mentioned.
They should.
They mentioned Paulie a little bit, but they don't mention that Paulie owned a robot. So.
Yeah. All right, Brian, what's the next Stallone movie on your list?
I'm going to go with Demolition Man. Because you don't like it.
I don't like it.
You only just recently watched this movie, too, for the very first time.
I did, yeah.
And you know what? Maybe I do have a little bit of the nostalgia ears kind of thing going on with this thing. This movie came out when I was just getting into high school. So I realized
I'm good age to watch Demolition Man.
I'm the old man in the group. I get that. I don't know the dynamic of Stallone versus Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is coming into his own in regards to his action-esque that he had of the 90s. Yep. Wesley Snipes plays an absolutely amazing villain in this.
Wesley Snipes is great in this movie. I love Wesley Snipes in it.
I don't think Wesley Snipes does a whole lot that's bad.
No, besides Blade 3, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, but was that his fault?
Tax evasion?
Really?
Well,
he still made
it look cool, though, Brian.
He still made tax evasion look good?
He made it look good.
One thing I liked about Wesley in that is the fact that, they gave him the blonde hair. If you look closely enough, he's got 2 different color eyes. They went all out in regards to, how
is his look based off Dennis Rodman? I was wondering that while watching it. It's about the same time Rodman would have been on the Bulls.
I don't think so.
There were a lot of things that came out in that time frame where it was based off of Dennis Rodman. There was the... oh, shit. Why am I blanking on it's the Bruce Willis movie. Chris Tucker.
The Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. That's what. Yeah.
Which, ironically enough, I watched about half of that today.
Yeah. I mean, the worm was the worm. He garnered a lot of hatred in that aspect. So.
It is a weird. I mean, yes. I mean, does it hold up? No, because of the fact this is supposed to be 2032. I agree with you that for the sake of the technology or the inability to remember how things were, unless everybody had their minds wiped, they should have pushed it out a few more years,
a few more 100 years. Yes.
Yeah, the kind of thing. But
that was my biggest problem watching it for the first time just a couple weeks ago, is that there's only like about a 40-year time frame between when Stallone and Snipes get frozen and then when they come back in the future.
Okay.
And it's like, how do people just forget everything that happened 40 years prior?
Yeah,
it'd be like us forgetting what happened in the 60s. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, just a little bit,
It took out my suspension of disbelief, and Stallone is kind of phoning it in this one.
Which is, in some instances,
it was during that time, yes.
Right?
Yep.
And that's this kind of movie where you take that with the grain of salt that it is, and that it is just a popcorn movie. It's there just to have fun. How much shit can they blow up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he also made The Expendables, so I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure that'll get brought up here eventually, but that's all it was. It was just nonsense action.
Yeah. I don't want to shit on Demolition Man because I know there's a ton of people that love it, so it's just not for me.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Rob
Schneider's terrible in the movie.
Well, hey, we could be talking about Judge Dredd.
I've never watched it, and I heard not to, so we don't need to talk about Judge Dredd then.
Why not? Maybe it's one. You should check see how that rates compared to Demolition Man.
Demolition Man is at 34 on Metacritic.
Well, I don't care about Metacritic.
I'll look up Judge Dredd.
Ooh, 5.6 to 6.7. Okay, so what?
It doesn't have the Metacritic score.
I still have a lot of friends who love Judge Dredd.
It is one of those movies where I take it with exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And it's one of those good bad movies.
It's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, it's nothing like the comic." I mean,
no shit.
Yeah, I mean those are the people who are complaining about it.
Yes,
but Judge Dredd for me was the movie that I wasn't allowed to watch as a kid
because it was too violent.
It was too violent because what year did it come out? 94?
95.
95. Okay, so I would have been 7 when it came out. So that was like the one movie like, oh, we rented Judge Dredd and we're not allowed to watch him. Oh yeah, let's go watch it then right now. Like just make sure to put like something different on that we can change to the channel once our parents come in. Like that was the movie for us. So, and I remember 0 from Judge Dredd, but that's my memory with it. So,
yeah, it's one of those. It was. Hey, we want to make this movie. We need to get our famous action star. Stallone is the perfect person, and of course,
you need a funny sidekick. Rob Schneider.
I distinctively remember an interview with Rob Schneider when they did this movie. That there's a scene in the movie where they're escaping this whatever, and they're in like a almost like in a pipe that would go into, like a sewage pipe that would go out to the whatever, right? And they're basically being chased by this fireball that's coming up from behind them. And he's like, he goes, I remember this scene because they're getting Sylvester Stallone all lubed up in all this anti-fire retardant gel on him so that he doesn't catch fire. They don't do anything for Rob Schneider. And he's like, and I don't get it because I'm 20 feet behind the guy.
Yeah.
Gotta protect Stallone.
Yeah.
So it is one of those ones where it's like, it's not a great movie, but it's a fun watch.
Right.
And I think part of the criticisms that came out of this is what got us the amazing Carl Urban version of Dredd,
which still needs a sequel.
Which I completely agree.
Haven't seen it.
But one of the things about people's complaints about the Stallone version was him constantly not having his helmet on.
Okay.
So one of the things that Carl Urban flat out basically said is, "You will never see my face."
Okay.
So never once.
Carl Urban's a badass. less.
Right.
So,
but he's like, that's where at least, as an actor, when he's like, I hear what the fans were bitching about. I'm not going to do that. So I think, if anything, having Stallone doing this got us a better version with Carl Urban.
Yeah,
Sure.
That could be an argument.
All right, should we move on to our last round of Stallone movies?
Why not? We're just veering off anyway.
Well, we got to talk about Rambo.
Yep.
I mean, it's the movie coming out.
Yep.
So,
What? Rambo? What's Rambo?
John Rambo.
I haven't seen the newest one.
Okay.
I wish that I had, but now that they're putting a round out I don't remember the sequels as well, but man, First Blood was so much fun.
First Blood is fantastic.
Yeah.
I honestly think Stallone is just really good, like a really good actor in that. Like he's delivering so much in this action movie, and it is a fantastic movie. And the two sequels right after, Rambo 2 and 3, are kind of forgettable.
Right.
But then the latest Rambo from 2008 is fantastic.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
so good.
Yeah, well, and that came out right around the time of Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
At the same time. So I was very on the Rocky Balboa train, and we went and saw that, and I don't remember going to see that because it just wasn't front of mind at the time.
Yeah, it's complete. Like, I don't want to say it's completely different than the rest of the series, but it takes it in a much more hard R rated action movie. The ending is...
You could see that in the trailer. Like, you watching all the CGI blood pops from the bullets. I was like, yep, they're not sugarcoating that one.
No.
Well, and that's, I mean, there are some times where he's unapologetic with the action that he'll throw in there. Hence why he made the Expendables. So, but with Rambo, I mean, that, especially for at the time, it was such a violent movie for that time frame, and I think that's why it stood the test of time.
And I think the subject matter of the movie still, even today, if you released it, it's still kind of a touchy subject. He's a veteran, and he's getting mistreated by this police force in this small town, and they eventually go after him, and he basically wages a one-man war against this entire police department.
Which is amazing.
And it is a touchy subject to get on, but I think the movie plays it perfectly.
Yeah.
The way it needs to. And Brian Dennehy as the villain is fantastic.
It's been so long since I've watched the original Rambo, because that was another one. Like, his career happened so much, like, just a generation earlier than when I started watching movies. So, like, I remember watching Rambo 1, it's not really, like, it didn't resonate with me the way that the Rocky movies did, but to me, it's a no-nonsense action movie, and, like, he has to have a reason to be this fucking violent.
Yeah,
So,
and he is. Like, this is the one character if they were ever going to cross over with the Predator.
yes.
I want him to go one-on-one with the Predator, because he is basically the human version of the Predator.
That's amazing. I love that idea.
God, I need to see that before he dies.
Yeah, make that happen.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
That is the biggest crossover I've always ever wanted.
You make the reference in regards to Brian Dennehy being the villain, right? Which is not very often you see him play the bad guy kind of thing, right? It makes me think of the fact that since you hadn't seen Tango and Cash, when your villain is Jack Palance.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the only reason I know who Brian Dennehy is because I watched Tommy Boy on repeat.
Oh my God, really?
And he plays Tommy's dad in that, yeah.
He's got so much better shit than Tommy Boy.
Tommy
Boy,
Do not knock
don't
Tommy
do
Boy right now.
let me preface that Tommy Boy is a great movie.
It is a great movie.
Different topic.
Right.
Brian Dennehy is actually really good in Tommy Boy, though, too. Yeah, but yeah, I need to do a full rewatch of this series. It's been, I think I was doing the Rocky, and then I did Rambo right after.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, but then I've gone back and watched the Rocky movies since then. So I need to do the same with Rambo, and yeah, the sequels are I don't remember anything that happens in them. And so, yeah, I need to go watch them. I think those are both available on streaming somewhere for free with ads, so
I'm sure that they are.
Pretty easy to find. And, yeah, this new, the 2008 Rambo, I highly recommend it.
Do you? Okay, I'm going to make that a priority to watch this series all the way through.
Yeah.
Because we did try to get to RoboCop, and which does not hold the test of time, but
Which RoboCop?
the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that one still holds up.
Oh, I mean,
the remake doesn't.
Yeah.
And that was just a few years ago.
Oh my god. So, I used to work at this job, and I was the manager at this retail store, and I had just put in like this ungodly long shift, like 13, 14 hours. And I was starving, hadn't eaten all day, and I pull into a McDonald's drive-thru because I'm starving, and that's the fastest food I can get. The guy gets up on the little speaker, and he sounds like the dweebiest teenager ever. For one, you just hear, "Hey, welcome to McDonald's. This is what can I get for you?" I'm like, "Oh, just give me 1 second here." And he goes, "Yeah, take all the time you need." And then there's this 3-second pause, and you just hear, "So, you gonna go see RoboCop this weekend?" And that's my only memory of that entire movie. And
but you will remember that vividly for the rest of your life.
And I was like delirious. And I'm notorious for having these really awkward interactions with fast food people, and I don't know why. But I remember I had my hands on the wheel, and are you kidding me right now? It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. I immediately called my fiance now, my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, "I have to tell you this story about this dweeby McDonald's rep. You're going to laugh your ass off about this."
Super stoked for the Joel Kinnaman RoboCop.
He was. It was great.
Joel Kinnaman is amazing.
In what?
Nothing. I'm just kidding.
Okay, exactly.
Actually, I don't mind him in Altered Carbon, but we've had that conversation.
Yeah. All right, Brian, we're going to leave it off to you. What is the final Stallone movie we're going to be talking about?
Well, since we're going to keep with franchise and whatnot, and we keep bringing it up, I'm bringing up The Expendables. The one where, number one, Expendables 3 should never have been PG-13, and we should have gotten Expendables 4 by now.
If you look at Stallone's IMDb, it says it's on the docket.
Yeah, well, that's probably been there since they were talking about it.
Probably.
I believe it.
Because it says what? Rumored?
It says announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who...
When's it? Yeah, look at that. Last updated May 30th of 2017.
Yeah.
Who are they going to add for this one? Like, because I mean, that's the best part of the movie is like adding
Who's
all these
next?
action stars and who's next. Like, I would like to see a good
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, like a Keanu in it, or like somebody.
Well, I want them to. I would love for them to stick with the formula of finding somebody who is relatively known and put them in the villain role. Like, that's one of the things I loved about, especially Expendables 2, when your villain was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right.
You know, that you had Mel Gibson being your villain, you know, that sort of thing.
Mel Gibson was a good villain. I mean, he's a villain in real life.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't very far stretched. You know, yeah, I mean, I like how with Expendables 3, they kind of were, you know, doing the whole old generation, new generation thing. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of room in there. I mean, there's a lot of people you could still throw into the Expendables that are, I mean, at this point, you could still throw in, you know, half of the cast of Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
Between, you know...
Brian just wants Expendables to cross over with Fast and the Furious.
No, I'm just thinking for the sake of, you know, somebody...
The story, yeah.
Well, no, The Rock and, you know, Vin Diesel. You're talking about these big, bulky guys that do action, you know, that have not been a part of this franchise.
So... Something that I found out about at StarCast a few weekends ago at this wrestling event is that CM Punk actually pitched to WWE Studios to do a remake of Cannonball Run with all former wrestlers. And
that would be amazing.
Thank you. I was like, everybody in the room, he goes, "You mean the fucking movie that I pitched?" And they said no to remake Cannonball Run. And he said he wanted Dave Bautista, The Rock, John Cena, Stone Cold, and himself all in it. And I was like, oh my god, why hasn't this been made yet?
No shit. Just give me... I would love that, you know, not to be completely off topic, but to have a modern day Cannonball Run would be fucking awesome.
Right.
I don't even care how you subsetted the category of the people you bring into this movie.
Right.
But just give me Cannonball Run.
No, I think if they're going to do an Expendables 4, I mean, that's always the big thing, is that they expand the cast, and it's it's just nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, and that's exactly going into the very first Expendables. You knew exactly what it was.
Exactly.
It was a straight up homage to the 80s and 90s, action flicks and whatnot. Were there going to be plot holes? Yes. Was it going to have horrible acting in it? Of course it was.
There's probably not much of a plot to begin with.
Yeah.
How can we get to the next scene where we blow shit up?
Exactly.
I haven't watched these movies forever. I think I need to do an Expendables binge again. I haven't done it since these came out.
Right.
And I was in high school at that.
If it wasn't for the fact that the Expendables 3 took the turn that it did, number one, going PG-13, curbing for a potential 4. They were talking about doing an all-female version of what they were dubbed the Expendables.
Expendables.
But they were talking...
Well, that's why they introduced Ronda Rousey into it as well.
Well, yeah, because they were talking like Sigourney Weaver and Hamilton from oh my God, thank you,
Linda Hamilton.
Yeah,
so it was Ocean 7 with explosions.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in.
So
I'm in on this.
I would watch it.
Yeah, exactly. I've paid for worse.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, I mean, you think of even some of the action stars that were the female action stars of that same kind of time frame. I mean, because I think at one point, Michelle Rodriguez was also possibly looked to be attached to the Expendables.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, I'm like, this is a franchise that I think has so much worth in it, and I think they could still go. But they need to fuck that fucking PG-13 shit.
Yeah, if it goes rated R, it'd be. A rated R Expendables altogether would be great.
The first two. The first two were.
Were they?
It's the curve is 3 is where they're like, well, we're trying to broaden the audience. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's why that one was the weakest link, and that's why that one and it didn't having. You can't look at the Expendables and go, well, it had weak acting. No fucking shit.
Yeah, you think?
you walked into that movie knowing that. So
I disagree on one point. Mel Gibson is giving it his all in the third film.
I've never seen the second or the third one. I saw the first one. I was like, okay, I watched that. That was awesome.
That might be why I like the third one. At least that's the one that sticks in my head the most, is because Mel Gibson is actually a really good villain in it.
Okay.
So
I don't remember anything else about those movies besides
I just remember explosions
and
like big
one-liners.
reveals.
So you make reference to Mel Gibson, right? Because obviously these are the homages to the movies that preceded or whatever, right? And of course we get Mel Gibson because of the infamous Lethal Weapon series, right?
Right.
All of a sudden I just had this thought. I'm like, okay, if you're gonna put somebody in the villain role that you would never see in a villain role, now I need Danny Glover as the villain.
They should have made them both the villains. That would have been great.
That would have been even better.
And create the same dynamic they had in Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit.
But yeah, so if you do like Expendables 4, you get Danny Glover and you make reference to his previous partner who they referenced to Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd dig it. I'd probably go see it, let's be honest.
Oh, all right. I need to do a rewatch of those. It's been a while.
Yeah. He's got some good franchises. I mean, that's the other thing is that he's really good at setting something up so that it has multiple movies. That's not, say like the MCU or the DCEU. Those things that have a little bit of background to them already. He's done a really good job of like, I'm just gonna blow some shit up with Schwarzenegger. Mm-hmm. We're gonna make $1 million. Let's be honest. So I think that, and then. His stamp of approval for the Creed series. I mean, as that's kind of gone on, because I forget the guy who wrote the original Creed movie. I'm trying to think of what his name is.
Oh, fuck! What is his name?
Did Coogler?
Yeah, Ryan Coogler did.
Yeah,
because he wrote and directed it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, giving that stamp of approval for that character to continue on with an arc and passing it on. I think he's done a very good job of passing on some of these series. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for Last Blood.
Rambo Jr.
I've never seen Rambo Jr.
No. You're thinking Son of Rambo. I'm just talking like the predecessor of
It wouldn't to surprise me if there was a Rambo Jr.
The Creed version of Rambo. Get us Rambo Jr. or something.
Oh
no.
That's what
I want.
Yes.
You know what?
I want over the top 2.
Oh my god, the kid.
The kid. Yes, exactly.
He has to train his kid to be the next great arm wrestler.
Yeah. Kid turns out to be John Cena.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
He's already got the baseball hat.
Your money.
Yep.
I'm in.
There it is. That's the film.
I just want to blow up John Cena's Twitter and be like, you need to make Over the Top too.
I know. I'm pretty sure that there were 4 guys that were tagged after that CM Punk talk that we watched, that their phones just got blown up. Like, what the fuck are we mentioning Cannonball right now?
What the hell's my Twitter feed going off for?
Oh, all right. Stallone.
Oh,
my God.
I love him. You gotta love him.
You tell me I need to watch the Rocky movies now. I have to go and I feel the need to rewatch the Expendables first.
No.
Yeah, if you honestly, if you consider yourself an honest-to-God film buff and you've never watched the Rocky series, at least the first two are, like, must-watch movies, so...
3 and 4 are just great popcorn movies, and then...
They really are.
Yeah, I would recommend that entire series, I guess. Yeah. And out of the series that we talked about, Rocky, Rambo, and Expendables is quite a bit step down from the other two.
Well...
And there's not much substance,
but that is just straight up popcorn. But we knew that going into those movies, you know. Whereas I understand,
it wasn't trying to pretend to be something it wasn't.
Right, exactly. It knew it was very self-aware.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas at least, yes, I would completely agree. Even as oddly, weirdly, whatever that is, Rambo in some people's eyes and whatnot, is definitely more well written, and has a better pace and everything like that. But you know the Expendables are literally just I want to get a bunch of my friends together and I want to blow shit up.
Yeah. I think that is what, as we're going to wrap this up here, what Stallone can do so well. He can do those mindless action flicks, but he can also have the heartfelt same action flicks. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You can call those Rocky movies action movies. Mm-hmm. The First Blood is all in all an action movie, but it also has a ton of heart and character behind it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's only Stallone can do that. Yeah. Schwarzenegger doesn't have that range.
He doesn't.
Definitely like Jean-Claude Van Damme doesn't, and
Bruce Willis I'd put up
is the closest one.
He's probably the closest, yeah.
But he was never macho.
No, he wasn't. You're right.
Which Stallone does. He does well, and he can also
yeah.
So
you make in regards to like his stature and thing. All of a sudden, immediately I was thinking of his small part in Guardians 2, where he's just yelling at Michael Rooker. Yeah. Which, now that you make reference to that...
It's hilarious. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I thought of that as soon as I saw Michael Rooker. I'm like, oh, shit, this isn't the first time they've been together,
well,
is it?
That's amazing.
And who's to say maybe that's not the connection, and that's how maybe we got him in there in the first place, because Rooker's a huge, has worked with, Gunn for as long as he has. Mm-hmm. But no, it's like the scene where he's just basically berating Rooker, and you just feel like he's that dad where you just don't want to disappoint him, and you're just like... There, and even just that little bit part, he puts so much into it.
Yeah, that's one thing I think people often forget about Stallone. He is actually a really good actor.
Yeah,
and
Spy Kids.
Yeah, he's fantastic in that. Yeah. We can't end it on Spy Kids. Oh please, if you haven't watched the Rocky series or Rambo series, please go watch.
Watch Spy Kids.
No, not Spy Kids.
We can't end this on Spy Kids.
Oh, we can't end this on Spy Kids.
He's like,
we're gonna end this on our strong leg, guys.
He's like, some of my kids can't watch my movies, so I need to go make a movie like Spy Kids, so they have something for me to watch for them to watch.
I'm sure that's probably a big part of it, actually.
All right, let's wrap this up before we get into
Spy Kids. Spy Kids.
Oh God, help us all. All right. Let's wrap this up.
He's gonna go watch Spy Kids when he gets done.
I probably will.
Go see Rocky. I mean,
There we go.
You don't have a leg to stand on here. I'm sorry, you haven't seen Rocky 1.
I've never seen Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good at least. The Spy Kids movies are fun though.
At least
Brian, I'm trying to wrap this up. I don't want to get into Spy Kids anymore.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Let's just mention
jump into it. All right, let's fucking wrap this up. Last Blood comes out this weekend. Go check it out. We'll be there. Maybe Brian will. I don't know. Watch all the Rambos first.
Yeah, that would help. It would definitely help.
Yep.
All right, let's jump to our plugs that we always got to do here. You can check out the Sioux Falls Film Community Meetup. We're going to be doing another one of those. Come meet us in person. That'll be Wednesday, September 25th at Full Circle Book Co-op in downtown Sioux Falls from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. September 25th. So be there. Come join us. Come talk Stallone movies. That would be a fucking lot of fun.
There you go.
Not Spy Kids, though. You can check out the next episode of our horror-themed podcast, The Killer Countdown, where me and Blake Ginnathan, we are going to be ranking the Rob Zombie movies after 3 from Hell.
Okay.
So we're going to be ranking all 8 of Zombies films, so definitely be on the lookout for that. That comes out September 23rd. Also, check out our buddy Andy at Fat Dude Digs Flicks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. He will also have a little part in what we're doing at SuperCon.
Really?
Little tease there. Yeah, so Andy will be there. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well at Backlot605. Check out our TeePublic store. You can find that on our website, backlot605.com. While you're on there, you can check out any of our latest movie news, reviews, discussions, articles, whatever else we got going on the website there. Also, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and YouTube. And before we jump into our little final thoughts on Netflix, you're messing me up. Spy Kids on the Brain is messing me up.
That was my fault. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. We'll do a Spy Kids episode at some point.
There you go. Don't bring me on for that. The only thing I know about Spy Kids is that Stallone. One, so.
I didn't even remember which one that was until I looked it up. Yeah. I just know it's Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
All
right. Charlie, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Facebook if you want to be my friend. It's Charlie Eccles, but I don't have a fan page, unfortunately.
Be his friend. Be his friend.
If you are a professional wrestling booker, or if you are in need of commentary or ring announcing, please let me know. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at WrestlingVoice1, WrestlingVoice1. You can also email me. It's WrestlingVoiceCharlie@gmail.com. Try to go to check out my stuff on YouTube. If you go to the Midwest All Pro the Midwest All Pro YouTube page, you can get an example of all of my commentary work. Hopefully the Magnum stuff is going to be coming up here soon. We lost our production guy, so we're kind of in a genesis stage of trying to get some production done down at Magnum. But make sure to check out Midwest All Pro at SuperCon for Supermania on September 27th, live with Billy Gunn. We are also doing a ladder match. So you need to make sure to check that out. We're going to have a Money in the Bank style ladder match, and I'm not sure where it's going to end up on the card, but last year we did one, and it was bonkers. They opened the show with it, and I lost my voice after the first match, and it was the first time that it happened, and thank God
you're preparing is what you're saying.
I come equipped most of the time now, but I had cough drops sitting in my pocket. And I was also the ring announcer for that show, so it was we're gonna do it again. I love ladder matches, so I'm gonna be doing another ladder match here for Magnum Pro. I'll be at Magnum Pro on the let me get my calendar out so I don't say the dates wrong here quick. I will be at Magnum Pro in Omaha, Nebraska on the 21st of September. On September 27th, I will be at Supermania. On October 5th, I will be doing Crushed Pro Wrestling. And then, again, I will be making a round for Magnum Pro on October 19th. So I've got a pretty full schedule coming up here. And if Major League Wrestling is listening, MLW, please give me a consideration. So...
Do it!
Yeah.
Yes, do it. We love having you on, Charlie. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love coming on, guys.
Absolutely.
And he's going to be on sooner than 6 months from now.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Well, Fighting with My Family 2 has to come out eventually, right?
We do have something maybe we can quickly pitch to Charlie here.
What's that?
We are going to be talking about a little wrestler that turned into an actor. You might know him by the name of Dwayne Johnson.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, she is somewhat of a star right now. We're going to be talking about Dwayne Johnson, The Rock movies in December.
There's a new one that comes out like every 2 weeks, though. I don't know which movie I would pick.
Jumanji 2 is what we have it on the docket for.
Oh, well.
Or 3, I guess. Jumanji 3, I guess it is.
Yeah, Jumanji 3. Yeah, because I believe that he's got a million movies coming out. Yep. I have not seen Hobbs and Shaw. I'm sorry. You can take your Fast and the Furious franchise all you want.
It was amazing. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, I mean he's getting his Disney money now too because he's got Jungle Cruise on the way.
Yep. Oh, so yeah, if you want to join us for that one, that would be a ton of fun.
I would. So I love coming on here.
All right, so Charlie, thank you for being on. Next week we have a fun episode, as I said at the top. We're going to be previewing SuperCon, everything that we're going to be doing, everything that SuperCon is bringing to Sioux Falls. We're going to be talking about it. I think me and Brian will geek out over the Green Goblin head that is coming from Maximum Overdrive.
The Green Goblin and the Return of the DeLorean.
Yes, so we're going to geek out over those movie-themed vehicles. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Check that out next week.
Somebody's going to go over by our table. It's just going to be empty.
Because
we're just going to be hugging the Green Goblin.
I just love Stephen King stuff so much.
I love this coked out movie.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. Check that out next week, and then check out SuperCon September 27th through the 29th at the Sioux Falls Convention Center. Until then, Brian, thank you for being on again. Go watch Rocky and Rambo.
What do you mean going beyond again? I'm here all the fucking time.
I know. I'm just saying thank you.
Rambo is the bottom line.
I was like, I think he's trying to cut me out here. Is what it sounds like.
Well, if you haven't seen Rocky,
Spy Kids one more time.
I just want to keep saying Spy Kids. Just get stuck in his head.
You want to talk about Spy Kids?
I kind of like the first Spy Kids. I'll say that.
For all the Rodriguez movies I've ever seen, Spy Kids is not one of them.
Okay.
Any of them.
We'll do a Robert Rodriguez
We'll
series at
do
some point. All right. Charlie, thank you once again for being on. This was a lot of fun. And you guys can check us out next time on the Backlot of South Dakota.